Breaking news tonight, a jury sentences Otis McCain to death for killing San Antonio Police Detective Benjamin Marconi. Within the last hour, jurors unanimously decided on the death penalty. This is McCain just seconds after the judge read the jury's decision. McCain ambushed Detective Marconi in 2016. The victim's family waited nearly 5 years for justice. That finally came tonight.
Eyewitness News reporter Zach Briggs has been covering this trial since day one. He joins us live from the courthouse with a reaction from the state and the defense.
Well, after 8 long hours of deliberation, the jury coming back to the courtroom with a verdict. And there was complete silence in the courtroom as Marconi's family waited for the verdict to be read by Judge Ronhell. Now, Judge Ronhell went down the 2 rows of jurors confirming each decision. Now, signs of relief could be heard in the courtroom from Marconi's family. Tears and hugs followed. And as McCain left the courtroom, he was escorted out by the same bailiff he happened to attack a couple weeks ago after he was found guilty of capital murder. Now, McCain's best friend, Reggie Alderman, from high school, could be heard saying, quote, "I love you, Otis," before breaking down in tears. Now, we did catch up with District Attorney Joe Gonzalez and McCain's defense team for reaction to tonight's verdict. Take a listen.
The jury has spoken. We know this was a very difficult decision for them. It was not easy for them to reach this verdict. We want to thank them for their service. Nothing that we did here is ever going to bring back Detective Marconi. It is my hope that with this verdict, it brings closure and some sense of peace to the Marconi family.
While we hoped for a different result, you have to respect the jury's verdict. And so we just hope that they made the right decision.
And back out here live tonight, no execution date has been set for Otis McCain, but he does have the right to appeal in this case. For now, we're live downtown. Zach Briggs, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
And we just received a statement from Detective Marconi's family. They thanked the district attorney and prosecutors, saying, quote, "From the bottom of our hearts, we are extremely proud of all the hard work you put into bringing justice for Ben and finding closure for our family." They went on to say, quote, "To Detective Benjamin Edward Marconi, thank you for making our lives better and the lives of everyone you touched. You are eternally missed, and we will never forget you. Rest easy, sweet Ben."
Let's take you back to the courtroom. This is video from right after McCain learned he'd been sentenced to death. You can see he's surrounded by law enforcement. This comes after McCain attacked a bailiff in court last month. He just learned he'd been convicted when he elbowed that deputy in the face. That same deputy testified 1 day later during sentencing. Today, we did not see any violence in court, but before the jury started deliberations, McCain asked if he could speak.
I just want to make for the record.
You can't do that.
Choose to testify.
You can't do that right now. Defense, you got closing.
McCain did not take the stand.
We want to recap this case, one that San Antonio will never forget.
It's been unfolding for nearly 5 years. McCain killed Detective Marconi on November 20th, 2016. He was arrested 1 day later, but it took years for his day in court. Jury selection was in March of 2020, but then his murder trial was suspended due to the pandemic.
The trial began 4 weeks ago on July 12th. More than 50 witnesses testified, but the defense presented its case in just 2 hours. And on July 26th, the jury started deliberating. They took only 25 minutes to find McCain guilty. The next day, the sentencing phase began. That lasted until this morning. Jurors started deliberating to decide McCain's fate just before 1 this afternoon. And tonight, after 9 o'clock, we learned the verdict. We have continuing coverage of the jury's decision on KENS5.com and the KENS5 app.